Dun, dun. Brings back childhood memories, doesn't it, guys? This is George from DrinkinAZ and from Tempe's Taste of Hops. We are live with, tonight we have a special guest, 8-Bit Brewing.
How's it going?
Hey, Ryan.
Thanks for having me.
Ryan Whitten. We'll get with you here in a minute, okay? And I got my trusty sidekick, Duncan Lee.
Hey!
What's up, Dunk?
Oh, moving along. Another
Yeah?
beautiful day. Changing lives or diapers.
And the Czar.
How you doing?
Awesome. So we'll get to the Czar and his mass consumption of beer in California, but take us back to what you did over the weekend. You did David Tida had his big taste of tequila.
Yeah, it was really
taste tequila, right?
Yeah, taste tequila.
Yeah.
It was really fun. There was several different, probably 30 different tequilas there. Adam and I were there, and I had a designated driver, so my wife picked me up, which allowed me to sit and taste a lot of different tequila, so that was fun. They had, when you walked in, they were on both sides, and then upstairs.
Well, that was they call it now the venue of Scottsdale.
Yeah, venue.
What was that place called? What did it used to be called? I've been there before when it was a club. You walk in, and it's kind of like the Casino Paris, where it's got the storefronts on the inside, 2 levels, rectangular. I'm looking at the Czar, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can't afford it.
I went there once, like 10 years ago, and I dumped a beer on a Van Halen cover band from the balcony, and then proceeded to make a complete jackass out of myself.
Well, no, they had food on the second half, on the balcony.
Which I don't do all the time,
food,
people.
And they had swag, so free stuff. And
yeah.
I met
Tequila
some
people are
contacts
great.
And, oh, yeah.
Aren't they? Aren't they nice?
It was great, and I was very charming. I was telling one of the women there.
Did you impress yourself?
I said, I'm famous. And she says, why is that? I said, because I'm that guy. The picture, the before picture of all those diet commercials, that's me. And then she's like, oh, no, not really.
I thought you were going to say you're famous because you're the dunk tank on DrinkinAZ.
Well, yeah, but
that Duncan.
Well, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So it was fun. We just kind of hung out. And,
what was your favorite tequila?
I had the Three Amigos. It's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, I liked them.
It's interesting that he said the Three Amigos, though, because I went to a spirits festival in Chandler a few months ago, and those guys were really nice.
Yeah, that guy's really cool. Family owned.
Yeah.
Are they local or are they? I never heard of them.
Yeah, well,
their tequila was good too.
It's a local, Mesa something, type.
Well, they own a plantation up in.
Yeah, in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they farm like 4,000 acres even here in Arizona. So
wow.
Farmers first, really down to people.
I'll check them out.
Yeah. Did you get his number and stuff? Maybe we can have him on sometime. Because Laurel and I spent a lot of time talking to that guy. He's a nice guy.
I have all their contact info.
His name was Jose, but I might be wrong. Was it Jose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then the Czar was with the family in San Diego.
We spent the last week in Oceanside.
And how many beers did you say you had?
Almost 50. I say almost 50. It wasn't quite. I still have a couple in my fridge that I brought back, but I didn't want to include them because I actually drank, I think it was 49 beers while I was on the ground in California.
Now, did the wife, is she a drinker like you are?
Oh, yeah. No, she had everything I had.
Good for her.
Yeah, we split everything. And
that's like Greg Sorrells from BRI. Him and his wife did 26 breweries in 6 days.
Wow.
We
the only breweries we went to, we went to Stone. I had to go there. I'd never been there before. We also went to Lost Abbey Port Brewing, which was a phenomenal stop if anyone's ever in the area. I think Stone, you kind of go for the atmosphere because it's
The garden and
it's an
everything.
incredible, absolutely beautiful place, and the beer is good too, obviously. But the garden and the brewery tour is awesome. You go to Lost Abbey for the beer because it's incredible. I mean, we sat there and chatted with they weren't that busy either, so we chatted with the guy behind the bar. Unfortunately, I can't remember his name. But for probably 45 minutes, he just sat there and $1 a taste. I mean,
nice.
yeah. So I mean, and he only charges for about half of the beer because half the time he'd say, "Oh, here, try this." And anytime he suggested something, he wouldn't charge us for it.
I do that a lot at Sun Devil.
Yeah,
I give people free tastes.
It was awesome. And
yeah.
and I ended up they got a couple really cool glasses. But then we stayed. The house we stayed at in Oceanside was only 3 blocks from Breakwater Brewing Company, which unfortunately I waited till the last day to go there, and I was upset that I did because I had a flight of 6 beers and 5 of them were excellent. I thought were really, really good beers.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a good time. And I say if you're ever in the area, you got to try the Belching Beaver Peanut Butter Stout.
The Belching Beaver?
It's called Belching Beaver Brewing. It's in Vista. It's actually almost across the street from Iron Fist Brewing Company. But they have a peanut butter stout, which is awesome. It's the only beer I had more than once while I was there.
Now, how are you? You're kind of my hero in a sense that you have your kids are little.
Yeah.
How old are they?
I have one just turned 5. My youngest is going to be 2 in October, and I have a 13-year-old as well.
And you were able to incorporate beer drinking into your vacation?
Yeah.
With the wife's blessings?
Well, I went with my entire family. My parents were there, and my sister and brother-in-law, which I've gotten them into beer too. So when we went to Stone, it's like everyone wanted to come.
Is this the Masterpiece Theater?
The Mask Blogster, yeah. He's the Masterpiece Theater podcast. But he was there with me. We actually recorded a podcast while we were there.
Cool.
We had a rooftop patio in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, and we kind of did a wrap-up of all the beer we tried and just talked about that. But yeah, and we also, the one day we left the kids with my parents and my older daughter, and we went to Stone. We spent a couple hours at Stone, did the brewery tour and everything.
Oh, so you had the grandparents there.
Yeah, the grandparents were there, and then it was also my wife and I's anniversary while we were there, so we spent a night. We went and did a few breweries as well. So that's when we did Lost Abbey.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. It's and the thing with San Diego is that you don't really have to seek out beer. I mean, like I was telling Duncan before we went on air, we went to this little rinky-dink little convenience store that was like a Circle K kind of thing, and I went back to the beer cooler, and there was 3 dozen beers that were, I mean, they had habanero sculpin from Ballast Point at a convenience store. That's where I got the Belching Beaver, and they had, I mean, all the Coronado Brewing Company stuff, and they just had a phenomenal at a convenience store.
How many breweries do they have in San Diego County?
I have no idea.
It's I think it's the highest per capita.
Oh, it's close too. I mean, just in Vista, we stopped at Belching Beaver and Iron, and I looked up my app, my phone, within 3-mile radius there was I think 5 there was 5 total breweries.
Really?
Within a 3-mile radius of where we were.
Did you have Green Flash?
I had some of that. I had some Coronado. I'd have to look at my Untappd to see everything I had. I had 6 different breakwater beers. We got the growler filled from Stone a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was all 49 beers that I'd never had before.
Nice.
That were totally unique to me. I'd never.
And you logged them all in Untappd?
I did. So if you ever want, check out the Beers Are on Untappd if you want to see everything I had. So.
Right.
Big fan.
Yeah.
And check out the Beer Czar's blog at beerzar.com.
Yeah, thebeersar.blogspot.com.
.blogspot.com.
Yeah. So.
Did you ever get your project finished with the pictures, the summertime pictures?
We're still collecting pictures for summer beer pictures. If you have any pictures of yourself enjoying a beer while out enjoying the summer, hit up the blog. All the information's there on where to submit, or you just meet up on the beers or I'm on Facebook as well.
Got to get a picture of Duncan
floating in the
shirtless
pool.
in the penis pool.
The penis pool. I was gonna say we need a penis pool pic.
With a drink in his hand.
Yeah.
Floating there.
Yes.
There you go.
Like a lazy sperm.
That would be like kind of the grand finale, I think, of the entire post. I think.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking to Ryan Whitten from 8-Bit Brewing. And we'll be right back with you. This is George and the guys here at DrinkinAZ.
Hey, this is Dunk from the Dunk Tank. Did you know Tops Liquor has over 2,000 wines in stock from all over the world and over 2,000 spirits? There's huge selections of rum, tequila, scotch, vodka, you name it, they got it. And did I mention beer? Over 2,000 varieties of craft beer from Arizona and all over the world. So come next door to the Taste of Tops, where you can always find at least 25 very special beers on tap and hundreds of beers by the bottle. Come on down to Tops, and you'll never want to leave. That is, until your wife tells you to come home.
And we're back at Taste of Tops in Tempe with the guys and Ryan Whitten from 8-Bit Brewing. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
Hey, pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So, wow, where do we start? I mean, you're really the one thing about you, Ryan, that I've kind of noticed is the opinion. What strikes me about you is that you're really. A lot of people talk about opening a brewery, and then it lingers forever and forever, and you really seem to have, legs under what you say. And I talked to you, about where I spoke to you at Strong Beer back in February, and now talking to you today, and how things have really. You've really taken steps in the right direction, and as far as getting this thing done, I mean, you've got you've procured your system.
Yep.
From Brew Gear, one of our sponsors here, Phil Spivey, and you went from 3-barrel to 7-barrel, right?
Right.
And you already made that jump.
Yeah, that was
post-production.
Yeah, talking with Phil, he pretty much made us a really good offer and said, hey, I ordered in an extra 7-barrel system. If you want it, it's yours. So recrunched the numbers on everything, made sure it wouldn't stretch us too thin, and that decision took all of about 5 minutes, and begging the wife to let me drain a little bit more money out of savings.
Hey, it hurts a little bit now, but you're going to be glad you did it, because now you're not going to have to go back and retrofit everything. Okay, so let's reel it back and take us back to... Ryan, a little bit about who you are and what inspired you to start a brewery.
Sure. So with the brewery, it's kind of funny how everything came about. Just 10 years ago was when I first started home brewing, and at that point, it was one of those things where I said, hey, this is just a hobby. And I had people ask me, when are you going to open a brewery? I'm never going to open a brewery. It's a hobby, and I want it to stay that way. So that was one of those things. I stayed with that for probably about 5 years, just pretty much brewing on and off. As soon as it got cool enough for me to brew, I got to brew some beer, and it was great. So as time went on, ended up getting some extra equipment, got a separate fermentation to keep everything cool. At that point, started brewing a lot more often, and then there was a little voice at the back of my head, hey, maybe someday you will open a brewery. And at that point, even as early as 2-3 years ago, it was, hey, yeah, this is going to be 7 to 10 years off. This is something I'll shoot for right when I'm around 40, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. From there, it just built into more and more of a passion. And through a couple of different events, it went from, hey, this is going to be 7 to 10 years to 2 to 3 years to, hey, I'm going to be open in the next 18 months before the end of the year.
That would be incredible, and even if you don't make the end of the year, but you do it within a 8-month time span or whatever, I mean, people are going to be impressed, and you did it quickly because we were talking about the Richters, for whatever reason, they've been looking to open a brewery on the west side forever, and haven't been able to quite find everything to make it happen, and it seems that you were able to strike a deal with the city of Avondale and get their blessings right away, and you'll be opening soon.
Yeah, really lucked out with the city of Avondale. When I first went in there, I just wanted to pretty much pay my water bill. So I went in there in a raggedy old T-shirt, 6-10 days unshaven, and it just kind of asked them a question about one of the sports facilities they just built. I said, hey, who would I talk with about space there, lease rates, that sort of thing? Mm-hmm. They asked, well, why are you looking to do it? I'm thinking about opening a brewery. Everything went dead silent from that point. They rushed me into a conference room, and there was a city planner there in less than 5 minutes. So I hear you want to open a brewery.
Right.
And they've been absolutely amazing to work with from start to finish. Just about any time I needed anything, if it's questions on permitting, if it was having problems with the broker trying to get a location tied down, anything like that, wouldn't have been able to open as quick as I have without their support.
Awesome. Now, as far as what 8-Bit Brewery, go ahead, go to the name and explain the name and what that means and all the connotations that go with that, because it has a lot to do with your theme, right?
Yeah, so 8-Bit Brewery represents the old 8-bit video games. So things like Pac-Man.
So you're a gamer.
I am a gamer through and through. When it came time to pick a brewery name, I kind of realized it's like, you know what? I know what I am. I'm a geek. I'm just going to open a brewery based around it. So, yeah, it's all the old games off of really the NES, the original Nintendo, the old one that had the little zapper gun and the little square control pads, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I've incorporated into everything with the brewery, from the artwork in the brewery to naming conventions of the beers to everything I'm weaving through it. So.
And you said you had a pretty prominent artist involved in that, right?
Yeah, we're actually really lucky to be working with a guy called the 8-Bit Artist.
Uh-huh.
He's nationally known as far as 8-bit art goes. He hand paints everything. He just recently made national news kind of through the geek community in a site called Kotaku for a 9-foot tall painting he did of the final boss from, I believe it was Final Fantasy IV. Just a gorgeous painting. He spent over 2 months on it.
Nice. I see a few heads nodding. I don't know what Final Fantasy IV is. I have too many kids to know what the heck the deal is with video games.
I once suggested that Final Fantasy IV with the wife, but she didn't go for it.
What were you talking about?
It probably wasn't an 8-bit video game.
Something different. Yeah. I have all daughters, so I have no. Yeah, I'm not up on it.
You can tell us the latest about Malibu Barbie, though, probably.
Yeah, any Disney movie.
Disney, Frozen. We've had that conversation. Yeah.
Let's not go there.
Just let it go, man.
So, stylistically, what type of beer can we expect from 8-Bit Brewing? Is it Belgian, British, West Coast? What are we looking for?
Very heavily influenced by the West Coast. One of my original influences was Stone Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of the bigger beers, more aggressive IPAs. Yeah, I actually have considered wearing a shirt like that. Then I realized I should probably represent my own brewery today. But
right.
Lots of IPAs, stouts, big beers. I'm really big on flavor and throwing all kinds of stuff in there. So I've thrown everything from annatto powder to chocolate into IPAs.
What's annatto powder?
Annatto powder is something out of Mexican spices.
Okay.
And I used it to make a beer based around all the stuff the Mayans used to put into their chocolate. So it was Peruvian cacao nibs, Mexican cinnamon, Mexican vanilla, honey, annatto powder, and I feel like I'm missing something, but that's close enough.
Okay. And what else can we expect from the brewery?
Some of the other stuff we're working on as far as seasonal beers go, we're tying all those back into the video game theme. We're going to kick out 2 seasonal beers each season. Pretty much a mini boss and a boss beer. And mini boss, low alcohol version of the boss beer, which will be a big 10-12% bruiser, small glass.
Is there a video game connection there somewhere? Like,
yeah, so
who's the boss?
In the old mini game, or in the old 8-bit video games,
Uh-huh.
especially ones like Super Mario Bros. 3,
Uh-huh.
you would always have a mini boss, which was pretty much the small version that you had to make it past before you could get to the actual boss at the end of the level, end of the game, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And as far talking about the licensing that you're going to be getting, you're going to be looking to have the license where you can self-distribute?
Yeah, it'll be a typical Arizona microbrewer's license, so that allows me to serve my own beer in the tap room and to self-distribute up to the first 3,000 barrels.
Okay. And I'll be looking forward to getting some 8-bit beer over at Sun Devil and over here at Taste the Tops. That'd be nice.
Absolutely. Restaurants like this, growler fill stations, those are really going to be what's going to help me survive, especially the first few years. So I was really excited to see the new growler laws come about.
Just make good beer.
I'm going to do my best.
That's all we ask. As far as making good beer goes, what's your schooling? I mean, what do you feel qualifies you to head this up and make beer for Arizona to drink?
So as far as that goes, a big part of it is I've been homebrewing for 10 years.
Okay.
I know that doesn't always mean someone's going to make good beer. Luckily, I've been blessed with a really sensitive palate. So cooking and beer are very, very similar. It's one of those, you learn, hey, flavor A tastes really good with flavor B, and you combine the two of them and see what happens. Main difference with beer is you've got to wait 3 to 4 weeks to figure out if it turned out great or if it's awful.
Right.
So it's been a lot of trial and error, and luckily my palate has really served me well with everything. I didn't have, when it came time to say, hey, is this a good beer, is this a bad beer, the hard thing is always trying to get honest feedback from people. The one time that really helped me out a lot was I went and did a homebrew competition at Stone Brewery last year. And at that point, nobody knew who I was or what my beer was, so I got pure, honest feedback on it, and I had one person that didn't like the Imperial Stout because it was too dark. They were a lager drinker. Aside from that, the rest of them were thrilled, so I kind of took that as a good sign.
Okay, and I would say that the big thing that, Adam and I kind of went out and did a little beer excursion the other day, and, the big thing is to be open to feedback.
Right.
For whatever it's worth, take it or leave it, but if you leave yourself open to feedback, and especially to people that are, BJCP certified and stuff, if they're telling you something's going on with your beer, then it's good to listen to what they have to say. Otherwise, you end up with situations like, Adam and I encountered. Brewery shall remain nameless, where the beer, wasn't. None of it was really that good, but these people don't really take feedback either.
Yeah, and that's a really important part of my business model as well, is being able to take that feedback. We're very active on social media, and normally we know that's where a lot of people want to voice their complaints. At the same time, I've actually tossed back and forth with my wife a couple of times that I might put a sign in the brewery that just says, hey, comments good or bad, send them here, and just put my email address up on the wall. Send them to me personally and let me take care of them.
I was thinking more like, do you know Ron Cloth over at Papago?
I don't.
Okay, well, Ron, guys like Ron, Steve McFate, people like that, you just show up with a beer and say, hey, man, just, sip this and tell me what you think of it.
Right.
People like that, that are going to be honest and give you good feedback. That's what I would think. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about 8-Bit Brewing and get some more interaction from these guys here.
Well, I'm kind of curious about who else is involved with your company. Is it just you and the wife? Is it just I want to know the dynamics of that a little bit.
Yeah. So that's one where it really is my wife and I. I've got a couple friends that are helping me out with a few odds and ends, but really it's the two of us pushing everything forward.
And you're dinks, right? Dual income, no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's the antithesis of me and the Czar.
Yeah.
You know how much you could get done if you didn't have kids?
Oh, my God. I know. How much
Crazy.
money I would have.
Does anybody want a kid? I've got a 16-year-old they can have. No, seriously, I do.
I'd be loaded if I didn't have kids.
Although I spent 3 hours last night with my daughter in the Easy Bake Oven, and I got one really good cookie out of the deal. So
I think that makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be right back here in a minute, and you're listening to DrinkinAZ.
Phoenix Brewing Supply is an online retailer based in the Phoenix metro area. This online shop is geared up to give the homebrewer competitive prices on a wide selection of all of your homebrewing needs. Phoenix Brewing Supply provides quick access to a variety of hops, yeast, additives, and adjuncts, spiral fermenters, 5-star chemicals, chillers, draft equipment, plumbing, and hardware are all products you can find at the click of a button. When you can get most orders shipped within one business day, why go anywhere else? Log on to phoenixbrewingsupply.com today and receive 10% off of your first order when you register online. Phoenix Brewing Supply, what are you brewing today?
And we're back at Taste the Tops. So, what do you guys think of Taste the Tops?
I like it. It's home. It's homey.
Home field. It's the
It
home.
is.
It's the home field.
It is comfortable. Yeah, it's very quiet tonight.
It is.
Very
It's
quiet.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of a slow night.
Which is nice. I mean, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear people screaming in my ear,
Yeah.
you know. And you guys are all aware of the sister bar over at Sun Devil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I am aware. Yes,
they have a fantastic bartender down there.
that's what I've heard.
I heard he's a
That's
bit
the
of a
rumor.
loudmouth, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you heard wrong.
The Bears already told us that. Blame it on him.
So we have. By the time this airs, be a good chance that that we'll have the additional 6 taps, six handles.
What does that make total?
That'll make 8 plus 6. What is that?
15.
Fair amount.
And just the engine, the beer engine over at Sun Devil is going to be coming over here to Taste the Tops. So where it can get the proper usage that it deserves, because we have a little bit of a more intimate clientele down there. We have our regulars, and it's a little cozier, smaller place. They're going to run through that engine of beer in a hurry out here, so that'll be good for them. All right, so we're back with Ryan. Guys, anything that I didn't ask Ryan yet that you had questions about?
A couple of things. Where are you? A full like restaurant? You're gonna have food? You're gonna be able to food trucks? What's your plan?
Sure. So we're actually opening a production brewery out in Avondale. It's going to be right off the I-10 between Avondale Boulevard and Dysart, right off of Van Buren. It's a street called Fairway. So that's pretty much where we're locking down our location right now. As far as food goes, what we're going to be doing is running food trucks.
Okay. Nice.
Now, when you say production brewery, I mean, any brewery is a production brewery in one sense, right? But, I mean, are you going to be packaging beer from the get-go?
Not from the get-go. So we're going to be doing production, meaning we're going to push as many kegs out the door as possible. And what that really means in my case is
kegs for bars like Taste the Tops and Sun Devil that can...
Exactly.
Okay.
And mainly production means that my goal is to push more beer out the door than the beer that I actually sell in-house. So I might only sell 3, 4, 5 kegs a month out of the tasting room, where the other 20, 30 or so actually get pushed out the door to local bars, restaurants, growler fill stations, that sort of thing.
So the pressure's on. To make beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to quit your regular day job and just do this full time then?
Starting off, I'm actually going to be keeping my full-time job and running the brewery. Because of that, tasting hours are going to be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. I'll pretty much be doing the majority of the brewing on Saturdays. And it's one of those, I'm keeping the full-time job until the brewery can support itself and manage to pay me a paycheck, just to help ensure that everything succeeds instead of running the risk of running out of funds, not having enough to get off the ground, that sort of thing.
Now, have you talked to, and his name escapes me right now, friend of the show from before, over at Wanderlust? Anybody know his name? Help me out.
No.
Anyway, the guy over at Wanderlust Brewing in Flagstaff, as far as I know, as of the airing of this show, he's still an engineer over at Gore-Tex. You know, he has his full-time corporate gig, and then he does that.
He's got to be working his ass off.
Yeah. Well, no kids. I mean, that's the key.
That helps.
Yeah, and an understanding wife, I guess.
Yeah, that definitely helps as well.
Now, is she going to be helping out and doing any work?
Yeah, she's going to be helping out mainly in the tasting room, helping to keep all that stuff running. I've got another friend that'll help with some of the brew days for the heavy lifting, that sort of thing. And then we're going to hire in help as needed.
Now, what are you going to do about pushing these kegs out in sales and marketing? Are you going to do that yourself?
That's going to be a lot of what I do. Luckily, my current job is online marketing, so I do have a marketing background. I also have a sales background and used to bartend for 10 years. So.
Oh, good for you. So you're not afraid to go out and shake hands and kiss babies?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was kiss hands and shake babies.
Never shake a baby, Duncan.
Oh, I get those confused.
Never shake a baby.
Babies are not martinis.
Oh, okay. And then, so you work from home then, normally, or what? What's your deal?
No, I actually work for a corporation. Luckily, though, my boss is very understanding, and he's already let me know, hey, once it does hit the point where it's open, at that point, I've got the opportunity to work remotely, work 4 days a week, that sort of thing.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. The nice thing about working online.
Lots of beer.
I got one of my bosses into homebrewing just to increase my chances of getting the brewery open without them being upset.
Nice. That's what I did over at my
man.
corporate gig that I had. I kind of spread it out like cancer. I got you involved. I got Duncan involved. Mr. Bud Light over here, formerly Bud Light.
I know, and now Mr. I can't pronounce it. Mr. X. How's it say? Zynga.
Zingu.
Oh yeah, Zingu. Good
You know,
beer, by the
Duncan
way.
and I started our friendship off by swapping homebrew for sausage.
Not mine.
Not his.
No.
And Duncan was a big couponer.
Yes, free sausage.
Yes. And Duncan used to
And toothpaste.
have all kinds of food and stuff, and so I was trading with him. And then Duncan came to me and said, "Man, I don't know, I just got too much flavor." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm giving you the Golden Boy, the palest cream ale I could possibly give you, and it had too much flavor." But
Oh
you know,
well.
I digress.
But it's all about Ryan.
Yes, Ryan.
It's all
So
about
tell
Ryan.
us some of the names of your beers again.
Sure. So some of the flagships are going to be Hop Assassin's Creed. That's a session IPA. Black Mage, which is what I've termed a session Imperial Stout. Pretty much what it is, it's got all the flavor, body, and mouthfeel of an Imperial Russian Stout, but clocks in at only about 6.5% alcohol by volume.
I was going to say, session and imperial aren't usually two words you hear together.
No, you don't, but I sure do like to watch heads turn when I roll that one out.
Rarely do I sit back and kick back 6 or 7s imperial anythings.
Yeah.
Right? Except Imperial Margarine.
But yeah, maybe that. Only when it's warm up.
That's a fat joke.
So, got any other questions for Ryan here?
No.
Nothing.
I'm good.
Really?
Nothing.
You're gonna leave us hanging like that?
Yes.
Have you entered any contests?
Yeah, I've entered into a couple of homebrew competitions in the past, taken
Uh-huh.
a couple of gold and silver medals.
Have you? Good. For what styles?
For a barrel-aged stout, for a pumpkin porter, an IPA, and Imperial Russian.
Now, which contests were these? Was this Ash or?
Yeah, 2 of them were Ash, 1 was Arizona Homebrew, and then I took 4th place at Stone.
Good for you.
Very nice. Did you just do a something at like a brew your own brew kind of thing?
Yeah, I did a class last Sunday at
Oh,
Brew
yeah.
Your Own Brew in
Yep.
Scottsdale. My wife is doing something to support the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, so we did that to help her raise some donations for it. It actually went really well.
Were you teaching all grain or?
Yeah, I taught them all grain and showed them how to make my white mage ale. Pretty much gave them the entire recipe right there in the class and said, "Hey, knock yourselves out and go make this yourselves until I'm open.
Okay.
Then make it yourselves and come buy it from me too."
Very good.
Now, do you have a lot of camaraderie with other brewers out there? And who are some of your influences?
Yeah, so I was actually shocked last year when I first started getting into everything just how accepting the brewing community was.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked really closely with JP and Chris down at 1055 Brewery in Tucson. They gave me my first brew day in an actual production brewery. Did the first collaboration with me and even sent one of the barrels of beer up here to Ground Control so that I got to expose my
nice.
local audience to it.
Are you good friends with Ian?
Yeah.
Yes, very good friends
I
with
know
Ian.
The West Valley.
Yeah, on the west side.
Yep, Ian's stated a couple of times he's really excited to carry the beer, and anytime I go into Ground Control, he normally brings somebody over to chat with me. "Hey, this is Ryan from 8-Bit. Sit down and talk with him for a bit."
Right.
Guys at Peoria Artisan Brewery
Uh-huh.
have been absolutely awesome to work with. They did a collaboration with me as well. I've been chatting with Alex at Grand Canyon. All the guys at Freakin' pretty much. It was nice to see them get their doors open.
Those are your people on that side of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely sticking. And I know I'm across the valley, but it's nice to have that camaraderie on the west side too, because in a lot of industries that'd be your competition, but in the beer industry they're your buddies.
Right. Right. That's the thing here is that it's a community of partnership and everybody, rising tide raises all boats, and the people who don't adhere to that, you're going to see aren't doing very well. Typically.
I agree there. They don't stick around too long usually.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anything else? What are you drinking tonight, What do you got drinking in your glass over there tonight?
I'm drinking the Easy Jack from Firestone Walker, and I'll tell you what, I haven't been impressed with a lot of session IPAs. I really like this one. It really is a very hoppy. It's got lots of bright citrus, a little bit of pine in there.
Does it have malt backing it up as well?
A little bit of malt back in it. It's still a little thin-bodied, but as far as the session IPA goes, that's exactly what I want in one. So I couldn't really ask
I'm gonna
for
have
more.
to try that next. I had the all day
The Founders All Day IPA.
all day IPA. Thank you. Solid. That's the best session one that I've had.
I kind of agree with Ryan. I've had a few of the session IPAs. I'm not a huge. I'm not a hophead really, but I haven't been too excited about too many of the session IPAs. But I might have to try that one as well. He sold me on it.
You plan on? You got any big beer that you have planned that you're gonna pull out that's just gonna amaze everybody, or are you gonna keep that under your hat for now, or?
No, the big one we're hoping to do that with is actually the beer that I originally did for the Stone competition, and that's called the Mayan Apocalypse. And it's actually a 12%. All of it makes fun of the apocalypse that was supposed to happen.
The 12-12 thing?
Yep, it's a 12% alcohol by volume. We use warrior hops in it, so I would say I sacrificed warriors to make the beer.
Nice.
All the ingredients in it are the stuff that the Mayans used to put in their chocolate. It's the one I was referring to earlier. All sourced properly. I'm really looking forward to getting that brewed on the new system. That was actually when I purchased the system. I made sure the system would be able to handle brewing that beer because it is such a difficult beer to brew.
Well, that'll take a while to dial in. What do you currently brew on? You brew like a Sabco type system, or?
Currently, I brew on a pretty much hollowed out keg that I got from Budweiser after it broke.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's my brew system. It's one of those things you don't have to have a fancy homebrew system to make really good beer. You've just got to know what you're doing, and you've got to make sure you sanitize everything.
Right.
So that's what I've been using to do all my beers. That's what I've taken my awards with. I've taken that to some brewers, including Adam up at Fate, and had him try it, and he looked at it and he went, "That's not homebrew beer. That's really good."
Good for you. That's and that's the guys at BRI are in the same boat. You try their beer, and it doesn't taste like homebrew. Brew.
Oh, we're
Beer
real
Research
good
Institute,
friends.
yeah.
We actually want to combine their banana lolly beer with the Mayan Apocalypse. We did that at the homebrew event earlier, and it was. We both tried and went, "Holy
Choco
cow."
lolly lips.
The Mayan Apocalypse is an Imperial Russian Stout.
All right. Well, hey, we're about out of time. Do you have anything you want to add before we let you go here? If people want to learn about you and you get familiar so that they can support you when you open, how would they do that?
Best way to do that right now is Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/8bitbrewery, you'll find us on there. Pretty hard to miss. We've got a homage to Zelda at the top of it. It says, "There's bad beers out there. Here, you'll need this." Okay. It's got a Link Holden little pint glass of 8-bit beer.
Okay, and that's 8, the number 8, or 8 spelled out?
Yeah, the number 8-bit brewery, no dashes or anything. Okay. So that's going to be the best way to follow us. We'll be really noisy shortly before open, and we're really hoping that's before the end of the year.
All right, well, this is not the last we're going to hear from you, and next time, bring beer.
Next time, we will.
All right, hey, thank you so much for coming in, and for Duncan and the Czar, this is George. DrinkinAZ, have a great weekend.